And we're live. Hey, folks. Bob Dolbot here. I'm here with Canales, Colonel Comics, and Bill from the Punchline.
DTs.
So, all right. Couple quick questions for you.
Shoot.
Starting with, what was the inspiration for the Punchline?
Yeah, the Punchline title comes from my partner, Matthew Weldon, and Jesse's superhero name, which I had no idea where it came from until we did another interview a few days ago. The inspiration for the book, the actual story, I do a lot of screenwriting, and I was trying to figure out what's a good kind of story engine that hasn't been overused. And I thought, you don't see a whole lot of people basing a book around the Shazam TV show from the 70s. So I thought, it would be interesting to do something sort of starting off there. But what if the mentor character wasn't really the world's nicest person? So what I've got kind of a creepy, mean-spirited mentor and a naive young hero, and they have some culture clash moments as they try to argue about the best way to fight crime.
All right.
And being very progressive and being 2018, of course, they had to be changed to women, so very applaudable there.
Well, I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to just write Batman and Robin.
All right.
Hello, Sketch Therapy has joined us.
Yes.
And Matthew.
Yes. All right.
Oh, yeah. The MAGA head, if it isn't you, you're not allowed here.
I'm going to be triggered.
It's my cruise hat. I went to Roatan, Honduras on my first and only ever cruise a while back, and I picked it. I tried to get a hat from every destination, but I wasn't able to make it happen, but it's one of the better ones. I like red. It's one of my faves. Everywhere, there's a lot of people here. Where's Bill? I heard he was live already.
I am.
Ah, there you are. I see you. Sorry it took me so long to get here.
Oh, you're fine. I guess this is we just see your.
Okay. Well, I haven't shaved and I don't want to have the whole neck beard thing going. I like to keep. I brought some new Gillettes. I bought some new Gillettes to they get rough, man. Once you get on an age, you go through them like crazy.
Oh yeah. Influenced the art of the Punchline.
That's got to be at you, Matt.
Wait, I missed that.
Art of the Punchline.
I think the question was, what was the influence for it?
Oh, over the character design for the longest time, and I don't know why. I just had a feeling about this book, and I just wanted to make it, absolutely spectacularly special. And I guess that's what I've always tried to do with everything else. But I felt like an insane urgency with this one, so I was all over the place. I couldn't figure it out for the longest time, and I looked around, and I don't exactly know if I had any one influence that led me in any certain direction or anything like that, except I just wanted to get the look of the character down first. And I mean, in the Indiegogo campaign, you'll see a bunch of sketches that were just all over the place, and then I printed them out, a bunch of them, and tried coloring them, tried to get a color scheme, and then I finally got a really good design down, and something that it just seemed like it was just magical, and that's what I'm going to tell you throughout this entire interview and throughout everything that's occurred with Bill and I for this book. It just seemed like so many things just happened that were like utterly magical and like kind of just fell into place just with zero effort. And when we came up with the name of the book, the name of the characters, the designs of the characters, and the the plot lines of the story and everything like that. But there was I wanted it to be unique, and so I looked around and I couldn't. I just came up wanted her to have unique powers too, and nothing was out there that was satisfying. So we're I'm going to tell you right now, we're still trying to figure out certain aspects of her power. So the most unique thing was to just like say, well, she's still discovering it. So we have like little bits of her powers figured out here and there, and parts of the storyline, but it's still kind of in development, I guess.
There are the two characters. There's Jesse and then there's Mel. And Matthew primarily came up with the design work on Jesse. For Mel, I just said, start with Modesty Blaze as a reference and go from there. So that's why the dark hair, the stabbiness, the violence, all my favorite things.
All right.
I like the style. I like your lines.
Oh, thanks. Like it. I was trying. One of the things about her character design that I wanted to be able to say to people was, as far as Jessie goes, Versima, her superhero name, was she has normally short, dark hair.
We're talking about the. I'm looking at the blonde. I'm looking at the Indiegogo. I see a blonde, and I see a little bit of the pencils, a little bit of the inks, and on the it goes through all the phases of completion with it. Like I like the style.
Oh yes. And that's where we've probably confused a lot of people with the Indiegogo campaign. Is normally the girl with the long blonde hair. Okay. That's her superhero look, and normally she has really short dark hair. And so so just, and that's one of the things
it makes sense, because if you just put on and take off some glasses, some people might make that connection. It's like,
oh, this guy's Clark Kent.
Yeah, not only you're the same size, you're the same height, same build. But a wig would make a difference.
Yeah, the hair, and that's what I say is the hair. I lose girls whenever they change their hair. Like I completely, they completely become lost to me because their face changes so much. I'm between hairstyles, for me, anyways. And we thought about toying around with when she changes her hair look. Like we thought about having her change her build even, because her power sets is kind of like cosmic.
Like have some risers in her boots so no one knows how tall she really is or something.
Yeah, we thought about changing a lot of that stuff whenever.
Like an offhand comment in there. Well, I have risers in my boots, so no one knows how tall I am. They can't make the connection. Like, but I like that. It makes it more like believable. I love that stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah, in the punchline world, one of the things that'll come out eventually is that most of the people that actually have real superpowers have some sort of magic base to it. And once you put magic in a story, there's a million cheats you can use. Like, hey, I want to be taller and blonder. There you are.
Oh, well, if you have magic, that's like the what do they call it? The Deus Ex Machina You can go to a lot of places, and you can put as many boundaries or take as many away as you want in the story. That's good.
It's a good way to cheat.
Yeah. I with this character, like, I just wanted her to have options. I mean, you don't want to make a character like invincible or like godlike or anything like that, or just not threatened in any way. But I just wanted, whenever we were going over these powers, me and Bill, I wanted her to have options, so she could go places and do amazing things,
because you could put the limits in later.
Right. Yeah, there's going to be all manner of threats and action that is to come still. But I just wanted her to have like different.
Yeah, avenues. Like I always wondered, well, if Superman is weak to magic, why doesn't he just learn magic? I mean, you know, why isn't like Superman trying to tell oh God, Constantine, hey man, hook me up, give me some lessons, come on.
Or why do you have Zatanna as a sidekick, something like that?
Yeah, no, not necessarily a sidekick, just he himself, because you know, if that's your weakness, then you got to work on it. But they never done anything with that. I saw them do something with Batman, but not with Superman.
Wow, that's kind of nuts. Like they do have Superman learning all kinds of technology, like he's a Tony Stark and everything these days. But yeah, he is like weak. And it's like that new Justice League movie. When Superman showed up, the movie was pretty much over.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do against it? It was kind of weird. The Justice League movie, I didn't like it so much. I kind of liked Batman versus Superman, but I never saw the theatrical version. I refused to see it because the reviews were so bad. I was like, nope, not gonna do it. Yo me quedo en casa. Yo no voy a ver eso. I'm gonna stay at home because it's a lot of money, and if the movies are bad, then you don't. I mean, all these kiss-ass reviewers, that's why people are flocking away from it, because they follow the review and waste their money and like, oh, this guy's just kissing studio ass. He doesn't give a damn about my money.
I think the price of the movies, of the tickets, and the quality have gone inversely proportional in the last few years. It's getting crazy expensive and worse. I mean, I haven't watched a good movie in theaters now in, I don't know, 2 months, something like that.
It's like they're adding the loss of sales to the ticket price.
Yeah, that's not too crazy either.
I tend to go to the cheap matinee movies, like the first movie of the day. And,
that's the way to go.
And the theater next to my house has really great breakfast tacos, so at least I know I'll get some food out of it.
That sounds good. That's the way to do it.
All right. Well, on to the next question. How surprised were you?
Taking part of the money and then going and printing the books with that. I've just been, thrilled that we're going to have a little bit of cash left over at the end of it to, bankroll us on doing the next 5. So that's good.
I'm not surprised. I'm not. You know how much Celebration cost? Ain't nobody going. They got that money still. You know how much those lightsabers cost? They ain't buying. They said, no, I'm not spending on any of this crap. I'm not one more. Give me something else to buy. Because I'm not buying into the new Star Wars, any of that. And that used to be a part of my annual budget. I'm not buying tickets to Celebration. There's a lot of money just sitting right there that I was going to use for Celebration. I'm not going to use it. All that money that I was going to spend on cosplay, I'm not going to spend it. All those money I had for comic books and all this stuff, I'm not spending it. And I have this hole in my life that used to be occupied by this entertainment and this community where I'm not wanted. I'm gated out. I'm not surprised at all y'all making money. Hitch plows and load trebuchets. That's what I'm talking about.
It's been very gratifying because while it seems like an overnight success kind of thing, Matt and I have been working on this for about 1.5 years so far.
Well, you got on that wave at the right time, because this is the time where people are just sick of it and they're not buying fake ass reviewers and reviews. They want the real deal. They're like, look, this is my money. I want somebody that's going to be honest. That's why they attack honest reviewers. That's why they hate diversity in comics. That's why they hate the Quartering for giving his reviews on games. And that's why they hate them, because they're being honest about the review and they can't, they're not towing the company line, so no one's buying it. And they're like, oh, why are they not buying? Well, people know it's garbage. How did they know so fast? Well, there's people reviewing.
The bigoted wallets are out and the hate money is flowing.
Yes. Well, I mean, you got to understand the hate. Where does the hate come from? I mean, the Jacksonian Democrats took the native land, and then the Democrats exported eugenics to Germany and Japan. And then the Democrats created Jim Crow. And then the Democrats defended Jim Crow till the 70s. So, I mean, if they want
the Alex Jones conspiracy hour.
No, hey, you can make the bet. I got the money to make the bet. You want to make a bet? I'll put $1,000 down.
Okay, Sketch.
I'll put $1,000 down. I got the money.
Sketch, please. You're hoarding the conversation.
Well,
Like,
they touched the topic, I touched it back, but I didn't touch it in a bad place.
Show me where the topic touched you.
Matt, was that one of your kids leaning into the shot?
That was my baby girl being super behaved.
That's pretty good.
And audibly behaved anyways. Like, she understands the situation. No, I'm really happy with the amount of supporters that we've got on the Indiegogo. I've only ever helped friends do Kickstarters and stuff like that. Books that I've drawn before for other people, they would throw Kickstarters and stuff like that, and I would step in and ship a bunch of stuff, or I would take some commissions for them to help them. And this is the first one that I've done that where we've actually committed to like a T-shirt, and I'm really excited about the T-shirt because I had the T-shirt printed a couple months ago already, and I've been trying out the quality of it just to see, how it would hold up, and the design, and how the layout would look. And so I'm kind of really excited for people to get the T-shirts more than anything else. We'll send those, so those will be out pretty quick.
Has some more immediate budget for you?
Say again?
It's a more immediate budget that you can access?
Yeah. Like, I
can understand that. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, the difference is, at least in terms of shipping, is that we can send it to
print it when it's ordered. They just, there's an order, there it goes, and that way you don't have to have a surplus.
Well, we do have somebody who does print on demand T-shirts locally, but we want to make sure that we do really nice, high quality T-shirts. So I've talked with a local shirt printer, because if you do, one-off print on demand things, I'm not sure about the quality compared to somebody.
I've heard good things, but I don't have I've heard good things, but I don't have the experience. So if you have someone that you have experience with, that's like, all the better.
Plus, we can get a volume price break. I know that I think we're going to hit the volume price break for 72, but 144 shirts is a lot of shirts. So we'll see if we hit that next pricing tier.
I'm excited. I didn't even know about crypto fashion until somebody brought it up.
The T Public, they attacked they took down Jeremy. I don't know if you guys have heard Jeremy of the Quartering.
Yeah,
he does game reviews, and he's been attacked for being an honest reviewer, just like a lot of honest reviewers.
They took him down. And
they took his T Public, but he went to crypto fashion and made a get woke, go broke, and he's like, T Public, you can stay broke, and he's selling them on crypto fashion. I can't wait for his card game. And I'm sure that when the time comes, he's going to be reaching out to all of y'all to make some cards.
Oh wait, you talking about the trading cards?
He does the Magic the Gathering. That's where it all started, because he was a reviewer. Then he did hey, quality is not so good. Then he got labeled like, oh, you must be a Nazi if you don't like my cards, that kind of stuff. And
people are really People are really tribal. If you go out and make fun of something that they really like, you're kind of inviting a fist fight.
Yeah, no, but it's also about 10, 20 employees viciously attached under fake accounts, trying to call you a Nazi because, they might lose their job.
All right.
It's like half and half.
Characters.
Well, let me feel that a little bit. I thought that it would be interesting to kill Mel and have her hang around a little bit as a Force ghost. And Matthew told me I couldn't do that. So we have long-term plans, and I've got kind of a roadmap. And with our deal that we made for an ongoing monthly book, I think we'll be able to pursue that printing plan.
Yeah, kind of lost my train of thought. Give me a sec.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I'm hoping.
Go right ahead.
The fun thing is I'm really, really big into strange crossovers. One of the wackiest crossovers I've ever attempted was I tried to draw. I have a print of a witch from the video game. Was it Left 4 Dead? One of those witches, and then Yes, they are. They're devastatingly scary. And then I took the characters from Last of Us, uh, the guy and the little girl, and I mixed them two in a crossover. Uh, One thing that we didn't really advertise in the Punchline book was we've already done, if you've looked at our comicsology, we've already done a crossover with another character, a
Cool.
little brief story, and I love, love, love crossover stuff. If there's any attempt at a crossover, and especially in this world, like I'm not even that concerned with trying too hard to make it that legitimate of an encounter. You know, like the science
No, it
behind.
also opens it up for merc work. You can have a guest author, a guest artist, and then it's pretty much you're like, look, we got this IP established. We want to cross these two guys over and make a split because we know you guys are getting marginalized over there and you got to make your money.
What we did was we talked to the granddaughter of the original radio Blue Beetle character, and
Okay.
puts out little comics like that. And I reached out and I said, "Hey, let's do something," and then we did. So that's in one of our digital comics, and it'll be in the trade paperback that's coming up. A little 13-page Marvel style crossover.
Yeah, yeah. Ethan was talking about maybe getting a crossover between Rags and Cyberfrog and like this apocalyptic scenario because it kind of has a zombie feel to it. And that just if all the people outside, if all the indies, comic skate or not, I mean, you know, labels, they use them, whatever. But if all the outsiders, which is what they really are, if all the outsiders got together, they could do wonderful things together, and they just mark it out to other artists who need that leg up. But you know, they lend the name, the brand. You know, it's a great world for crossovers right now. It's like it feels like the time of the Image Exodus.
Well, there are fewer gatekeepers now, so there's more options. You can take your stuff straight to Comixology, or you can go do a crowd-funded book, or you can kind of do whatever. So there's more ways to find an audience now.
Exactly.
I think the good thing is that
trying to gatekeep, but I'm not doing a very good job.
No, you know, we're gonna love you anyway.
you're doing a great job, Colonel.
Thank you. You can all get out of the community now.
You're
I think
excused,
the good thing now is that we have less lawyers than they have in the 90s. So if we want to, cross over our characters, it's up to us. If the creators can get on, can reach a deal or whatever.
That stems from ownership. I mean, if they're your characters, you can do what you want with them. Mm-hmm. And while it's nice to get that peanut butter money, you don't have to worry about selling underoos and peanut butters and aluminum foil with your characters. You can just kind of do whatever you want with them.
I was always a big fan of the Spawn and Batman crossovers and that kind of thing. Yeah. But even during that time of Image, I imagine it was complicated. But now that on this side of the plane, where it's pretty much you could just talk to the guy and say, yeah, there's 3 of us. Well, let's decide on the split. And once you decide on the split, it's all done. It makes it a whole lot easier.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that the big 2 companies haven't figured out a way to bury the hatchet and try to make some money and put out the next Batman Captain America book or whatever.
Well, they're not what they were. They look like DC, but it's something wearing a DC skin suit, like an Edgar suit. You guys ever saw Men in Black? They're wearing
sugar in water.
Well, they wear that company as a skin suit, but they don't care about selling comics. They don't care about comic fans. They don't.
They already made it clear that they don't care if they kill the company in the process.
Instead of sugar, they want diversity.
Well,
Well, you should be happy about that,
but
I am.
This is the way I see it. I see it as these people don't care because they look at comics. They've written it off as a marketing line item. He's like, well, it's always going to be a cost because marketing is always a cost, so I don't got to worry about making a profit on marketing because it's always a cost. Now, if you show people making $500,000 on a comic, then you're disobeying your fiduciary duty because as a subdivision of a corporation, that subdivision is supposed to be, it has a fiduciary duty. to make profit. So you make them look really bad. Then Wall Street is saying, well, how come you have this subdivision? There's 500,000 in comics made over here, but how come your subdivision of comics isn't selling? You say comics don't sell, but we're watching comics sell and selling big numbers.
For a company like Marvel, though, I mean, if you compare the sales of Black Panther movie tickets to Black Panther comics, the comics are a rounding error, but to the people that make those comics, that's pretty important. I mean, I broke out the numbers for May 2018 sales, and I think Marvel sold $21 million retail worth of comics, and that's a lot of comic books.
Well, yes, you can look at it that way, but you got to understand the optics. Wall Street is about tomorrow, not today. And if Wall Street sees, well, these people don't know how to manage some of their divisions, it's not about how much money that could have or couldn't have made. It's about you have bad management.
Oh yeah,
that hurt the Disney deal. That's why they had to renegotiate. That's why they have to throw more stock in the option, because it's not just a cash deal. You're also putting a lot of stock into the deal. And if your stock goes down, then you got to put more in there. You got to change the deal. That's why they get to make more bids. That's why it gets crazy expensive.
That's sketch.
I'm kind of really curious to see how this IDW and Marvel merger slash,
I think it's more of a licensing deal than a merger.
Yeah, like sampling their licenses for kids and to see exactly how much they maintain that.
I'd love y'all's thought on that, because I'm not really too familiar with it.
I'm just learning about it myself.
Licensing,
it was something that was just announced. Where the IDW guys are going to do some books aimed at the teen market. They're aiming it at the kids market, and they'll be producing some Marvel content. Now, when you make that kind of book for Marvel, you hand that up to your editor, they read it, and they hand it back. If you make that book for IDW, you hand that up to your editor, he hands it to Marvel, they make notes. I mean, it's one more layer of middle management in there. But, it'll be a decent paycheck, and for the guys working on it, it kind of checks the box. Have you always wanted to write and draw Spider-Man? Well, here's your chance to do it in a different context.
It's a way for the editor to say, well, you just don't like me because I'm whatever. Because you have a layer of protection between IDW and your Marvel editor.
No, you mentioned a fiduciary responsibility earlier, and the people in the editorial departments in IDW and Marvel and wherever, they have something of a responsibility to keep from jacking these characters up so that they continue to be viable going forward. And it's that kind of thing. I wrote a Justice League Unlimited comic book, and one of the notes I got back was Superman does not use sarcasm. Like, all right. So I rewrote the line and fixed things. There's internal metrics that people use when they're creating those books to try to keep them consistent across the lines. And all I'm saying is that the people that work on the Marvel books for IDW are just going to have extra people that get to give them notes.
I think that's good. I think they're going. This pretty much crazy now.
Well, that would be a welcome change, because that hasn't been happening too much around. In Marvel comics themselves, because Kamala Khan, as your boy Zach very well put it, has like 4 different personalities depending on the comics she's in. So that would be a welcome change.
I have been liking the Daredevil book that Sewell's writing. I think that he's bringing some interesting stuff to it. I don't know how much longer his run's going to go, but I think it's a pretty solid run within the that long history of that character.
I'd like to welcome Dollar Reviews.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
How's it going?
I'd also like to add that Venom is really good right now from Marvel. I would recommend anybody read that.
Cool. I was a big Venom fan, but I was back in the Mark Bagley, Eric Larson, McFarlane era.
Yeah.
That was the best era for Venom, if you ask me.
Well, I'm with you. Estoy contigo, hermano. ¿Verdad que sí? That's totally true.
All right. Well, my next question for y'all is, what are
breaking up there?
We lost you.
You broke up a little.
What other mediums would you like to see the punchline made into, like cartoons, movies, TV show?
All of it, I guess.
As much as we can get our hands on that will help us, get out to more people, the punchline storyline. Because I mean, there's video game, communities and card games and animated series and stuff like that. That just, I mean, there's just groups of people that don't venture too far out of there. So I think it would be absolutely awesome to sample everything we can. I mean, if I had to put one at the top of my list, I would really like to see a video game. I don't exactly play any more video games these days. I have at least like 6 or 7 video games still in the wrapper from my PlayStation 3, just because of my kids. I just don't have time anymore. But when they get of age, I'll be able to, you kind of expose them to more video games and stuff. But I really love video games, and I love anime. In fact, one of the things you'll see throughout my book is, wacky little anime expressions that'll pop up on Jesse and some of the characters.
Okay.
You may be able to tell that, you may not, but anime was a huge influence on me growing up drawing, and in comic book stuff. It helped me watching animation helped me become,
Have you ever heard of Mugen?
Oh, the
video game Mugen. Man, maybe some of you are
just with a huge mashup of every fighting character of all time. Is that what that is?
Yeah, I'd like to see a Comicsgate Mugen where you just put characters in there.
Holy cow.
Comicsgate Mugen would be great, and the character center will be completely squashed in the first round because they're normies.
Well, speaking of other mediums, the sexy pinup posters seem to be all the rage amongst the misogynists now, so you might think of that.
Yeah. I would definitely be into that.
No.
I think Matt and I are not ashamed to talk to anybody who's willing to write us a great big check to make movies or video games or novels or, the aforementioned peanut butter and aluminum foil.
Well, Mugen would be like it's an open source two-player game. It's like what you used to see in the Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yes.
But it's open. That means you could take characters like Homer Simpson and throw them there, and the Transformers. And you would see some crazy matchups. If you go into Mugen Online and you look at videos of crazy matchups, you will see some stuff like Goku versus Ryu and stuff like that. It gets crazy. It gets into some crazy fights and powers. Some people are really, really good at that stuff. But if you get a good one going, and
that would be awesome.
I think we can muster the manpower between all the people involved in Comicsgate to do something like that. It would be very cool.
It would be awesome. I would love to see that. I'm just throwing that out there. I would pay some money for that. If I could get my own downloadable Mugen version, I would. I'm a customer. Like people, that's always my perspective, and that's the perspective I push, right? I don't believe in the Trinity. There's the reviewer. An honest reviewer is important, but that's not a pro. That's a reviewer. There's the pro. The pro just makes the stuff. He can promote his friends, but he's not a reviewer. He probably feels uncomfortable reviewing other people. Unless you're someone like Diversity in Comics that made the transition. And there's the customer, and I'm the customer. I'm like, I need honest reviewers. Hello, it's my money. And I need, creators that are open to a feedback loop, because if not, I'm investing in an IP that's going to go down the drain, and it's not going to be worth anything, and not emotionally or financially. So that I believe that's like the trinity of the consumer market.
I like that idea. As far as the Mugen and everything like that, I've gotten other things published here and there throughout my career, but this one, man, I'll go online and I'll look at the torrent sites and the pirate sites and everything like that. And I always thought it would be the most satisfying thing to get my stuff pirated, and I'd always look to see if my comic books were pirated somewhere.
It's so good they had to
success is
steal
measured to me on how many people pirate my stuff. So
Yeah, you know how they say that plagiarism is the best form of flattery. Well, no, piracy is the best form of flattery in the 21st century.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Like that's like my ultimate goal right now is to like
I think I saw our book on a pirate site not too long ago.
I think you're right. You like the site, the Comixology issues. I want to say I saw that too.
Yeah.
The first few for download in a bundle.
Yep.
It's like a lot of people are ignoring the free stuff on Comixology because it's just like it's a lot of pushing for a certain. They're pushing a lot of stuff at you. I have Comixology, and I get a lot of the ads. I get a lot of the ads on my email when you open it, and it's just it's rough. I usually rather go to an author or an artist or someone I like and go and see where their stuff is at, and if their link goes to Comixology, well, then I'll go there.
Yeah.
But now it's more about the personality.
I could never get used to Comixology. I guess I'm too old to enjoy comics if they're not on print. You know, I do have Comixology. I always back with the second option in the Indiegogo campaigns because I like to hold the comic in my hands. So.
Me too. I'm old school like that. And
Yeah,
I'm the type of guy that
man.
buys two that you have one like sealed and one that's like for you to enjoy.
Yes.
I read stuff in a lot of different formats. Back before somebody twisted Amazon's arm and made them raise the price on trade paperbacks, I would go and buy digital trade paperbacks on Amazon and then read them on the Comixology reader because it's a better reader. And I was reading a lot of stuff for $3 and $4 that I wouldn't have bought and read and then just stuck on the shelf. So.
Well, there's also that point of interest. You might like a story so much on digital that you'll try to find a physical copy.
Yeah.
And if you're the type of guy that buys two issues, well, you might get the digital and the physical and leave the physical, sealed and just, read and enjoy and use it on the digital platform. I'm not against the digital platform. I just got a couple of years on me, and it's a little new to me.
I think that the digital platform, a lot of people were scared of it, and I think that platform is mature enough for us to realize that digital comics are not going to replace print comics. They're going to be 15, 20 in the comic shop anyway.
It's so like physical books. They're still physical books. They're not going anywhere. People thought, the death of the physical books. No.
People like to read in a tub.
That's another good point. That's another good point I was thinking about bringing up was along with the physical books. We were excited to see all the success on Indiegogos and stuff like that. But one thing I think I've taken away from this campaign was that I don't think it's going to be like a long-term solution. And I may be in the minority on that one, but I don't think it's going to be a long-term solution. Definitely not for us, but probably not for anybody. I just remember Kickstarter popping up 10 years ago and someone saying it was the future then, and I've done a bunch of Kickstarters and all it's done.
No, but you could fund digital a few issues and then have like a physical for the arc.
Right. And it's like we're here, we're doing it, and it's been amazing. And getting on Twitter, which I wasn't on about 2 weeks ago, and trying to promote the book and trying to explore that community and stuff like that. Just everything, social media and everything online has been amazing, and it's good for kickstarting. Yeah, that's what it's good for. But one thing that we're super excited about for the book is getting it published after this, which is why we came to Indiegogo in the first place, is because we were having such a hard time finding a publisher for it for a long time, and nobody really is interested when you're not signed or being published through a company. But once you get interest in it, then it makes publishers feel a little more comfortable about publishing you and moving forward with you for future.
Like good things start to snowball into momentum. Right?
When it rains, it pours. All that stuff.
I like that. I like the Mugen idea. I like the idea of you funding a couple of digital trades. Like you say, I get part 1, 2, and 3. And the 4th one, you could just get the other digital 4th one, or you can get them all 4 together physical.
Yeah,
something like that with a story arc. I'm just brainstorming.
I've looked at it like we've got these different channels. We do our digital books on Comixology and Drive Through Comics, and then we've done the crowdfunding book, and that's about to wrap up. And we've been pretty successful with that. And now we've got that same content that's going to go into an ongoing monthly series from Antarctic Press starting in October. And, that will hit the people that we haven't hit through these other 2 channels. I don't know if we're going to do any more crowdfunding, but, I'm excited to see what happens with the print version coming from Antarctic.
So what's the deal with that Antarctic Press? Have they lost their fear? Have they, buckle up? Are they like running strong now?
The guys that run Antarctic are really nice guys, are really sweet guys, and they just didn't know that they were going to end up in the middle of this battlefield whenever they decided to put out a book. What they saw was a book that had a huge crowdfunding aspect to it, and they thought, oh, this book's a big deal. They didn't know that there was going to be so much negative press that came along with it. So I don't they're putting out a Chuck Dixon book. They're putting out a lot of different books. They're trying a lot of different stuff.
I get it. I have a combative personality. If I get wounded, I attack. I don't retreat.
I have a question regarding Jessie.
Yes.
I don't know if this is spoilers or not, but what are her powers that we can know about so far?
But I'll tell you, whenever we were discussing it, we were talking about telekinesis and all other stuff, and when I was coming up with a name for her too, and I was approaching Bill with names, and he was throwing names at me and stuff like that. I wanted her powers to be so unique and her options. I thought about the space and the universe and stuff like that, and so I thought about naming her Versima as a alternative from the word universe. And her powers, I started off by having her kind of absorb all of the surrounding friction from the rotating, galaxies and planets and stuff like that. And I love
I know what that is. I think that technically it's called tapping into the infinite density of the vacuum.
Yeah. That it's
of course.
Exactly that. And I thought about, how they talk about dark energy and how no one can measure it, but they believe it exists.
Yeah, like something so strong that it presses energy into matter, but we're so dense that we can't see it.
Right, and then I imagine so she absorbs this energy from the universe, and that no one else can measure or absorb. That's kind of like the avenue that I took on that one. And when I thought about how it manifests in the recipients of that energy, I wanted it to be kind of, it comes out in different hosts differently. So the powers that Mel had, she either used them differently or she developed different powers from it. But
well, you'd have to get into vibration and harmonics, because that's what keeps mattering from melting into each other. It's like that boundary that
we're entering Grant Morrison territory now.
Resonating at a certain frequency, and if you can resonate a different frequency, you can tap into different energies. That's the only way I could see for tapping into the infinite density of the vacuum. Maybe I'm getting too much into the quantum physics of all this stuff, but it's great story lore, because it kind of gives you like a little check mark on that science. That's not, I love science. Yeah. It's got a little bit of depth to it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, and I wanted to. That's exactly right, and so far, it makes her a lot denser and tougher. So she can fly, and whether or not we've decided or not to make it where she
that makes sense, because if you could make your mostly empty space, right? I mean, between the protons and the neutrons, it's mostly empty, 99% empty. So what gives you that density is how those frequencies resonate. How do you know the resonance of the field of the molecular field, more or less. So if you could control that, you might be able to change your density, like Ant-Man and the Wasp. And maybe you don't have to use weight. Maybe you could make it so it changes the density weight instead of size.
So that's a really good point. So that whenever we were talking about Jesse's look earlier, whenever she changes her hair, it's a literal like physical change. She doesn't put on a wig or anything like that. So like she actually changes and grows her hair out.
Like a little bit like that movie Lucy.
Lucy. I
yeah,
what you're talking about.
Yeah,
The one with Scarlett Johansson that nobody liked.
What?
Well, yeah, but the if you know, as a reference.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, so she could use a little bit more of her brain, and she developed certain
not the
abilities.
mechanism itself, but the physical attributes that she displayed through a different mechanism.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the Scarlett Johansson movie.
Oh, poor ScarJo.
So in the book, what I came up with, my sole contribution to this so far has been that somebody who taps into a superpower set or a extra energy set like this, their powers are an extension of their basic personality. So the male character is dark and creepy. She's more likely to stalk people through alleyways and beat the crap out of them. And Jesse's the polar opposite there, where she's kind of light and bright.
Very bubbly.
When it comes to the action in the book, about all that I keep in mind so far is that Jesse's strong, she can fly, and then I will write, okay, Matt, you've got 6 pages to have a fun fight in. Let's have them hitting each other with this, and here's where it takes place, and go have fun with it.
Yeah, you could have like a gravity. Gravity always grabs everything, so it might be a darker energy. And light, well, light is more of a reaching out and a light energy, so it might have like happier overtones. Or I'm just throwing fan fiction at you because customers are fans, and fans don't really care about the money. They just want to buy the book.
Speaking of fights, if I may, do we have a villain already? Because that's my favorite part of our comics, the bad guys.
Oh man, we have some amazing villains. Like in the comicsology, I can't exactly remember which issue it is, but you are going to be introduced to one of the best villains of all time in issue 2. One of my favorites, and he's got the best name. It's already out there in the comicsology. His name is Mr. January, and he's kind of like controls cold and ice and stuff like that, and
but only in January.
He can make any month of January, pretty much, right?
His nickname is Mr. January because he only works 1 month out of the year.
Oh, I like that.
He goes and works when it's cold, and the rest of the time he takes a year off.
Colonel Comics on point again.
Yeah, the Santa Claus of evil.
Sinister Santa.
Well, that sounds cool. I like all that stuff. I can't wait. I mean, I like deep character arcs, good stories, something that's going to stay in my mind and make me wonder what'll happen next. Would she do this? Would she do that? With the current comics in the big two, you can't tell their personalities. You can't distinguish them. So there's no arc. There's no nothing.
That falls on me, and I try to keep that in mind when I'm writing the book. That Mel is really old, and she's been doing this a very long time, and Jesse's basically a teenager wearing a giant suit.
Okay.
We have a lot of characters. I wasn't sure exactly, and we've been trying to figure out how to introduce them. We've discussed so many villains and accomplices to superheroing for Jesse and friends and this and that. One thing I just am really jazzed about is what's coming, and the introductions that are going to be made over the next few arcs and stuff like that with all the characters. I mean, we've started out, with Jesse and Mel, and it's always fun to think about when you're creating a comic book. I mean, do you try to keep it focused on a few or a main characters, or do you just go crazy and try to introduce a whole community of characters for people to follow? You know, if it works, you know, which either way, I guess it really doesn't matter. Just depends on how well you can work it out as a creator and as a, you know, as guys who make stories and stuff like that. And
so
we have
in the second character, in the second story arc, in the second trade, now that Mel and Jesse have kind of introduced that Jesse has a love-hate relationship with. So, of course, that second trade paperback is going to be called Super Frenemies.
All right. I like that. I like that. I can't get it right now. I'm going to get it on the 1st. Right now, I got Stardust. I got Loneheart, Red Rooster, Iron Sights, Ravage. I got 2 Ravages. I got 2 Cyber Frogs.
Thanks, man.
I got... let me see what I have here. And Jawbreakers. Jawbreakers was my first comic in about, I don't know, 10 years, 20 years. Yeah, I come, I've told the story before. I come from the Star Wars gate. I mean, I used to be really big into movies. I had an accident in the Army, cracked my skull. And you know, I was retired, and I kind of wandered through the system. You know, you get lost in the system, and I was just washing dishes and all this. And I talked to the shrink that says, look, now you worked hard for what you did. You were injured and you need to go get your money. And I was like, I don't want any of that money because I don't agree with the war. I don't agree with the reasons. I don't believe any of this stuff and I don't want it. Says, and the shrink tells me, look, that money that you're not getting, if you don't agree what's happening with that money, then that money is going to go to all those things that you don't agree with. So why don't you take that money and make sure it doesn't go to bombing some people or shooting some people, and it goes into your community? Because if you truly want to do right, you have to take every opportunity. I'm like, oh my God, this is almost biblical. If you get handed a treasure, do you bury it or do you multiply it? And I was like, you know what? Let's go to the doctor. They did all the exams, the x-rays and all this. And they're like, yeah, sorry, we screwed you. Here's your money. And I retired around 37. It should have been earlier. And you know, I had a little bit of extra time and I got into a little bit of the movie habit. And I used to have, you know, like in any community before it goes crazy, you used to have your chat friends that you would talk to. And I bet in the old days, you would have your comic blogs. And all of a sudden, I started getting shut down and blocked and muted. And I'm like, what's going on here? And especially around the time of The Last Jedi, I had this art channel that I would watch so I could get my fan art better. And I would watch the Brutal Portfolio reviews. And I'm like, this guy doesn't even know what's going on in movies. He don't even know. And then he saw The Last Jedi. And I was like, oh, my God. They stole his review, erased it, eliminated it. He didn't have a copy of it. I think he recorded it straight to the YouTube. It never came back. And then I learned about the Comics Gate through the Star Wars Gate that they kicked me out of. And then I learned a little bit about the Gamer Gate. And it's just people that are gating out honest reviewers and condemning anyone that does not agree with their narrative.
I like when you mentioned the drawing videos. I like the EVS drawing videos. I watched some early on. I think there was a Joker one and a Flash one that were pretty good.
Yeah, he did Anyone Can Draw and Brutal Portfolio Reviews. But
yeah.
my favorites were Brutal Portfolio Reviews because it's brutal and it's, you know, and it's art. I went in for the art. I didn't know about the Comics Gate. I used to long ago read comics during the Image Exodus and all this, but it was mind-boggling the stuff that they went through because when in my time these guys were idols. They were like untouchable, and the things that they make some artists go through now is just outrageous.
If you want to see more good videos about that, Weldon Wong does a lot of them, and they're great. He's a longtime comic book inker, and he'll sit down and he'll ink Venom drawings. He'll ink whatever pages he's working on, and talk about why he does what he does. And they're really full of insight into the process.
Cool.
All right. So, pretty much only topic I really had for tonight was talking. Well, I had a couple actually, but outside of talking to y'all was so. Did you two catch the Mary Sue article about Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Yeah.
I didn't read it.
Well, basically, in a nutshell, it was they were saying that they don't need a new Buffy reboot. It's fine the way it is. Give black characters their maybe.
Oh, I've been trolling them for days.
So you mean they're Nazis now?
No, first of all, I tell Mary Sue you're a guy. I just tell them you're a guy. Why are you acting like you're a woman? You know you're a guy. You write like a guy. Everybody knows you're a guy. Why you just call yourself Mary Sue? Why aren't you Gary Sue? First of all, you don't care about women. You're not a woman. That's the first thing every one that she puts out tweets. The second thing I do is like, okay, you got 80,000 followers and you can only get 3 retweets. This smells fishy.
Well, I got a question about the Buffy thing. I was curious about that. My wife, she had all 7 seasons of Buffy whenever we got married, and so I got to watch all 7 of them back to back. I wasn't planning on it until I got married, and then she insisted that I watch them. So I watched them, and it ended in a really cool way. And my question is about the new reboot. Is it an actual reboot? Are they taking a Buffy and just making a new Buffy completely, or are they taking one of those vampire slayers that they made hundreds of thousands of at the end of the season, which I thought was a cool idea, and are they continuing on with that one? Does anybody know?
To answer your question, everything that continued on after the series finale was continued in the comics. All right, and then the whole bit that they did with what they're trying to do is they're trying to completely reboot it with. But
we're losing you a little bit there.
But the whole point that I was making is then last night the Mary Sue releases an article about how the actress playing Starfire in the Titans DC Demand show was ran off of social media, supposedly, mind you.
I don't know. I think people were mad that she looked like a hooker, and you shouldn't dress Starfire like a hooker. No one cared that she was black. They cared that she dressed like a hooker.
Well, the whole point is that's what the Mary Sue was trying to say, was that it was the racist, sexist bigots, and this, that, and the other. Just 2 days after.
I don't know why people don't just change channels. I mean, these valuable corporate assets are going to be rebooted from time to time. Why don't you just change the channel? I mean, there's no reason to throw the rocks at people that are making those things. Just go watch something else. Because what corporations care about is dollars.
I invite all of you guys to compare the Mary Sue subscriber number to the Mary Sue retweet and like number. It makes no sense. There's no way that many accounts are real or care. They probably muted. It doesn't make any sense. How can you have that many subscribers, right? And no one is retweeting you. No one is giving you likes.
All the support is tacit, and no one needs the likes. Everyone just knows. They all know.
Well, maybe you're not getting retweets because you said something nobody agrees with.
That happens. That can happen.
But
I believe the point that Nerd was trying to make, though, was that the hypocrisy of 2 days ago tweeting about, oh no, we don't want a Buffy reboot, and then seeing something about the same from our side, they're calling us racists.
Well, there's a political underlying in there too, because I think the old Buffy was a conservative, right?
No, it was the old.
Oh,
Buffy
Sarah Michelle Gellar, yeah.
It was meant to be.
I don't think it was that conservative because Whedon wrote most of it.
Yes.
No, he means the actress. Sarah Michelle Gellar was actually a Republican.
No, the actress herself is what I was saying.
Yeah. So she's not coming back. You know, she's not coming back for the reboot.
The point that I was making is the fact that the same writer said we don't need a black Buffy is now trying to accuse people of being racist. Well, where in the first article she made a lot of the exact same points that people were making with, basically all the various race swaps, as I call them, palette swaps of characters.
Well, there's two components. There's two components here. There's the components of the elites who claim leftism, but they don't follow it. They're not going to give away their mansions or their money. They claim leftism, but they don't follow it. So they're more like social Darwinists. that use the Marxist cause head army by signaling, right? And they're like, wait, let me call the Marxist cause heads to come over here and defend this because it's in my personal interest. Not because they care about women or characters or anything. They just pull that virtue signal and put it on whatever they project for whatever reason. It's not it's a socialist, a Darwinist using the people that are so hungry that they believe in Marxism.
Hey, I think they need to go get Sarah Michelle Gellar right now and do a fan film, and then they need to put her on a desert, or not a desert island, but like a really secluded island out in the middle of nowhere, and then they need to have someone walk up to her with a stake, and then she just throws it over her shoulder.
Bring her to Puerto Rico. We got a couple of islands like that around here.
But and other than that, the only other thing was the Comedy Central hit piece on Richard Mayer.
Oh my God!
I just watched that. I just watched yesterday.
Did you see the dislikes?
Well, there's like 5,000 to 2,000.
No, 7,000.
Oh, I might have checked
it. It goes up by the hour. It's going up by the thousands and thousands and thousands. Like just between yesterday and today, the dislikes went up like 3,000.
I don't know if I watched the whole version. I think I did. It was like 10 minutes long. Did I watch the right one?
Yeah. He had that haircut from Guy Gardner. He got the like the bad guy in Fifth Element, you know.
Oh, you were going to say the Hitler Youth?
No, because I think you need a little mustache for that.
I saw that there was a whole lot of memes going around with that haircut, and I just I don't know why people insist on being unpleasant all the time. I mean,
he's laughing.
Why you need to do hit pieces? Why don't you just talk about the things that you like instead of being snarky? Because the people that you appeal to when you're being snarky are not necessarily people you would ever want to hang out with in real life.
Or people that have money. Those people don't have money.
It said 8,500 dislikes right now.
You see, last time I checked, it was 8,100.
Yeah.
And that was a little while ago.
Like 2,600 thumbs up. Yeah.
Well, I guess
Finest
Jim
progressive
Jeffries,
journalism I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Jim Jeffries might say it hasn't been a good idea.
No, this is what Uncle Lee says. Hitch plows to them. Oh, and I mean, he took it to heart. At first, everyone was like, "What are you doing?" And then it's like, "Okay, you're going into a lion's den, but these lions have no teeth, so they can't really bite you. All they're gonna do is run their mouth. So let them run their mouth, and when they can juxtapose who he really is, or the people that know who he really is, to the hit piece, he's just gonna get more support." People are going to be so mad, they're going to buy another Jawbreaker. They're going to up to a higher tier.
Well, it's not just that. It's like Jeremy from the Quartering made a very valid point where it's like all these hit pieces and various things that they're doing against him, and basically they're constantly trying to say that we're only a minority. It's them showing the fear. They know we're winning. They know they're the minority, we're the majority. And because of the fact that they are unable to actually get the numbers behind them, because the more left they go, the more people start to move to the right, more people start to move to the center.
No, I completely agree with you. That's absolutely right. They're trying to paint us as a bunch of white supremacists. But I'm Boricua de pura cepa, de aquí de Puerto Rico. I'm standing on my island. And I'm completely 100% Puerto Rican and 100% American. I tell the people that come here, "Oh, where you come from? You come from Texas? Welcome to Puerto Rico. This is American federal land. All of Puerto Rico is yours. Where are you from? Texas? All of Texas is mine." It's all mine too. We everywhere.
Hey, I have a really cool look out. I'll post it on my Twitter here pretty soon. But I've been working with a couple of my friends from work on a really awesome Teano character from the Puerto Rican culture.
Okay.
It's like a modern superhero, so I might need to get your input
Feedback?
on design. Yeah. So.
Sure. I'm at Cyberfrog Fan Art. That's my Twitter.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Cyberfrog Fan Art. I spurred a little bit on my local politics because, like I said, fan, customer, I'm just a regular guy. I'm not really a pro or a reviewer. I don't really get into that stuff, but so I get into my local politics. And the Caribbeans, we are very, how do you say, our language is very,
Colorful.
colorful. Yeah. So, you know, if you read the Spanish stuff, Mr. Canales, you know, tú sabes que nosotros a veces usamos palabras que son un poquito fuertes.
Lo sé.
So you know, but it gets into a little bit of everything. But I try to be as supportive as I can while still being myself.
So to bring it back to the interview or whatever,
Yes.
what I watched was kind of, it was really troubling, and it was really edited. I was shocked at how, you know, it was arranged, and I thought some stuff was funny, and like you guys are saying, it's probably going to be to his benefit.
Honestly, I hope somewhere he had like a hidden cam on him, or he was recording everything that really happened, the full interview. And because that's what I would do. I was like, okay, they're going to cut it to make me look bad. So let me just record everything that happens, the way they manipulate it, the way they sit me, everything they're doing to make me look bad, and have my own record.
He's too much Superman and not enough Batman to do that. He's just a Boy Scout. He's just a Boy Scout.
It sounded to me like he genuinely thought that it was going to be a legitimate interview going in, or either that, or he thought that he would be able to, you know, under whatever circumstances, be able to get his point across, and, you know, it just didn't turn out that way. I think they kind of got him a little bit.
I think he's maybe just a good guy, and it's really hard to hurt him. Genuinely, I think he's just a nice guy, and it's like, you know, by thy fruits you will be known. I mean, they can try to get him, but he's gonna have a little bit of the old protection over him.
He did. He got some of his points across, and I think the only part that I had a problem with that hurt him in the interview was when they held up the Black Superman, and then I don't know if he. Yeah, and then the
they made the black. Did they make a
lovely piece of editing.
I couldn't tell if that was his real reactions to that.
Or did he actually, was that actually his response? And it's like the people are saying in the community, I don't know. I don't think it has anything to do with color. I think that, you know, if you can just make characters with a good story, you know, I could care less what color they are, as long as, you know, the story's good and the characters.
Well, they made Black Superman like a little soy boy oppressed by the man. And maybe if he had a little character to him, a lot of people would love Black Superman.
Yeah, you know, you can make black guys angry or tough anymore. They all have to be soy boys and extremely effeminate.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
Yeah.
I'm still learning the terminology, so I'm trying to keep up with the soy.
Oh, well, soy turns into estrogen, and there's a lot of stuff in food and that turns into estrogen. So when they're talking about soy, they're talking about feminizing males.
I had no idea.
It also makes you smile with your mouth wide open for some reason.
They do a lot of female poses, like the mouth open, like, you know, like, hey, you know, I'm like 3 Photoshops clicks away from a money shot. They got that face. They got that money shot face. They also call it soylent grin. That's the EVS terms for it. He's got that soylent grin. He's like a big, wide, mouth open smile that looks like it's about to get that money shot, or just got it.
I don't know. In my experience with them changing characters, like, everybody, as far as I know, loves the new Samuel L. Jackson, Nicolas Cage, and like I've.
But that's my boy Kevin Feige, though.
Yeah. My concern was, you know, are they actually doing any of these characters justice? You know, like they're not making new characters, like say Miles Morales. You know, they're kind of delegitimizing Miles Morales, saying that he can't be as good or, you know, as he is on his own. He has to ride the wake of the Spider-Man emblem or suit and stuff like that. And I think that they're kind of hurting themselves by saying, hey, these characters who are making, you know, different colors or different genders.
Well,
You know,
like I
like
heard about Miles. I heard about Miles because he's Puerto Rican, right? But I didn't hear it like from all the. It's terrible. I heard that like a lot of people from all walks of life kind of liked his arc and his Ultimate Spider-Man thing. Now, so I don't know how I don't know what to say about Miles Morales because like I said, my first comic in a long time is Jawbreakers, and I haven't seen his art. But I'm gonna tell you one thing: as Puerto Rican as Miles Morales is, I doubt they have touched anything to do with Puerto Rico because Puerto Rico is basically a non-starter in any subject. They don't want to talk about Puerto Rico because we're the last colony. And the Democrats don't want to do anything about that. And the Republicans don't either.
Well, at the same time, like what the ultimate point I was getting to was, you know, you kind of, regardless of, you know, the characters that inherit the powers or the mantle of, you know, other classic characters, it eventually, I guess it kind of has to be like that, and that's what our book is about too. It's about handing down the mantle, you know, of these characters. So I totally understand, you know, that they want to give other characters a shot at, you know, Spider-Man or Captain America or
I
Thor.
think that's why they respected it, because it was like it didn't dishonor what came before, and a lot of new characters completely go against and dishonor what came before. I mean, Tony Stark was a person that came from merit. Riri Williams is a thief.
Well, the point
I haven't read any of those books, but I did read the Wolverine books where Laura, who was X-23, takes over and is Wolverine for a while. And I thought those were pretty good. Those were written by trying different things. And some of those experiments are going to work, and some of them just aren't going to work.
That's a good point.
Absolutely.
And the point I was about to make is when it comes to like Miles Morales, for instance, I will say the same thing about him that I said about Ben Reilly. I didn't like Ben Reilly.
Because, I heard bad things. Yes.
Like I didn't like Ben Reilly.
You're going in and out, buddy.
My whole point about Miles Morales is he is nothing more than another Ben Reilly. It was something to boost sales, but they went with they used make him a black Latino, and this way, if anyone says anything about him, oh, you're just a racist. And when he first came out, I was saying, no, he's just another Miles Morales, or just another Ben Reilly. That's all he is. And
okay. Did it have a similar story arc?
I haven't read his story arc. Ben Reilly was a clone. But to me, it was, and on top of that, it was a wasted opportunity. They may have done great things with him, but what they should have done is, instead of making him the new Spider-Man in the Ultimate storyline, they could have made him the Ultimate Scarlet Spider and brought him over and had him be the new Scarlet Spider in the main timeline. I would have.
I heard it was like it was tastefully done in the Ultimate and completely what you just said when they brought him over.
I don't know. All I know is they killed Peter Parker. They didn't have.
You're cutting in and out, my friend.
I don't know what's causing that. I'm going to restore my computer tomorrow. I tried doing.
Hey guys, if I may, I need to retire right now because it's 2:17 a.m. and I need to.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's how I roll, man. That's how I
Thanks for standing up to talk to us. I hope we were entertaining enough.
Un placer conocerte, que sueñe con los angelitos y que vaya todo bien por allá. Bendiciones para usted y para toda la familia.
Lo mismo digo, hermano, lo mismo digo. See, that's a Spanish thing.
Sí.
Anyway, have a great night, guys.
Yeah.
It's been great.
But,
you too.
Good night.
Adios.
Good night, sir.
But since I am still obviously having problems with my net and everything, I figure what I'll do is I'll go ahead and just say let's call it a wrap there.
Yeah, do the rounds.
That works. I appreciate the signal boost. We appreciate all of our fans.
Oh, definitely. Hopefully I can get you all back on tomorrow evening because I'm going to be doing a final push for not just Punchline, but also for the Ferryman. So we're going to have Sean Campbell on for a little bit tomorrow.
Sounds awesome.
And so I was hoping you guys could join me too. Also, yeah, that's pretty much it for the time being.
Matthew might be able to. I've got a prior commitment tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to make it.
Is it about the same time? If it's about the same time, I could probably swing it. I'll just send me the link and the time, and I'll see if I can jump in. You're a benevolent soul, sir, and I really appreciate your taking the time to help us out. The chat is always like amusing and fun, and I can't say enough good things, and I'll never be able to fully repay with products and T-shirts the amount of work that the people have done on the Twitter and promoting our book. Everybody who's backed it has so many people have stepped up to spread the word to their friends and everywhere they can to try and help us get supported and funded. And I didn't know what to expect in the beginning, but it's been nothing sort of stellar, the outcome and all the people and all the new friends and the fun crossovers that we could possibly do in the future. So I'm very, very satisfied and happy, and I love you all. So,
ditto.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, with a diverse comic like yours, I wish you all the best.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Basically, I guess, Bill, Matt, give your final pitch real quick, please.
Matt, why don't you take it?
Please give our book a chance. It's
Support
hard to
indie comics.
It's hard to describe, and I'm all about spoilers, so I'm going to do everything I can to post new images of new character designs and new pages as they get completed. So if your feedback and any ideas you might have on the characters that we're working on right now, we're more than open. This book is going to be ridiculously action-packed and super oriented. And that's one of the last points I would like to make is we've been told over and over again that superheroes, nobody's interested in them, and superheroes are dead. And
that's hogwash.
Yeah, and I can't accept that. And with this book, it's going to be a lot different than your normal superhero tale, but it's going to be very superhero oriented, and the powers and the fun and wackiness that's going to be produced from the characters and their interactions with each other is going to be something to watch. So whether or not you support us on the indie,
they're trying to lie just to cover their sales. That they're not doing so good, the big guys, but the interest is there for horror comics. The interest is there for superhero comics, for war comics. It's there. It's just waiting to be tapped, and you got to tap that.
Well, what I was going to say was, that's a good one. Whether or not you support us on the Indiegogo or not, the book is set to be published. Its very first issue in October. So if you feel like you want to support the Indiegogo, there'll be special exclusives for that. But please don't hesitate to grab the book, single issues on the shelves come October from Antarctic Press. Either way that you support us is going to be very, very significant. So please.
I like to think that we like all of our fans. We like supporting us through Indiegogo. And we like the ones that will pick up the Antarctic Press version of the book. There's one thing about the Indiegogo thing I want to kind of clarify. We may leave a little bit of the store up and running for a month or two. I've talked over with the publisher, and they're fine with that. So we may, once the campaign wraps up,
Look, some people might not be able to get through that first month, or they might learn late in their pay cycle.
Yeah,
so
and
it's good to have it.
We want to leave the window open for those folks. And the people that don't live in the U.S. that want to get the book, if you don't want to get it from us, you can go overseas comic shop. They'll have access to it. And once we get the books in-house, we'll be able to weigh them and figure out what to charge you for shipping. we didn't want to set flat rates for international shipping because we frankly don't know how much to charge, and we didn't want to overcharge you, and we didn't want to lose.
But this is coming from the other Indiegogo people when they have their discussions. I've heard it among their discussions. So, I mean, sooner or later, you're going to be in contact with them, and they're going to be able to help you out with all that stuff. There's a lot of networking that needs to be done between the indies. And you guys can't be shy about reaching that inbox and say, hey, this is my project. Want some advice? They'll mentor you. It's just that some of them are going to be real busy. Some of them are going to have a little bit of time. But they're all ready for crossovers. I mean, EVS is talking about like doing something with rags. They all want to help. They all want to help the indie side. They all want to help the outsiders. It's just that they're all under the burden of all these campaigns that they're running and all these media attacks and all this crap. So sometimes it can get a little cumbersome. But as far as I have seen, and I watch a lot of it, they're there to support all the indie scene.
Managing an Indiegogo from behind the scenes is actually a lot more work than I thought it would be. I'm lucky that I've got the kind of job where I do it mostly at night, so I can spend my time during the
culture, or if you just want to know stuff, I'm completely down to talk to you about it.
That'd be great.
And reach out. I'd be totally down for that. I'd be happy to help.
Thank you.
It gives me joy to help. I mean, I'm already retired. I'm basically an insomniac. So if you guys see that I'm always on Twitters and I'm on every live chat, it's because I don't sleep, I don't sleep a whole lot, and I enjoy it. It makes me feel good to help.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, thanks, guys.
Definitely. Colonel Comics, please give your closing pitch.
All right, everybody. Check out my new YouTube channel and Colonel Comics. Away!
I love that new intro video.
Yeah.
And Dollar, you're up next.
All right, so we're just going to be closing out. We got Halloween in July, just a couple more days here. But yeah, I'm going to be bringing you some interesting comics in the meantime. I got tonight, whenever it does actually upload, it's country internet, so there's no rules. But I got Tales of the Crypt on deck for you, so that should be a fun time. And then awesome. I got, hopefully some weird tales from the 70s, depending on if the book disintegrates when I try to open it up or not.
Okay.
All right, Sketch.
Like I said, I'm at Cyberfrog Fan Art. You can see me sometimes on World Class Bullshitters. I have a program on Saturday. It's going to be me, Mike Miller, and Jeff. We're going to be looking at Star Wars fan films. Like I don't know if you guys know about the famous what was it called? Troopers, where it's basically the stormtroopers responding to a domestic incident at the Owen farm.
Yeah, it's basically the version of Cops, right?
Yeah, well, a whole bunch of films like that. There is an anime version of Star Wars. We're going to look at that and just look at the indie scene to introduce the Star Wars audience to the indie scene, to Mike Miller, to the Indiegogo crowd, and just get all those all that money that's not going into Star Wars. All these people disappointed that they don't have a community, they don't have guys that they could talk to about lore. Know that there is a welcoming community out there for fiction and for comics and all this kind of stuff. And I just want to bring that money here.
I was at the store the other day and I saw that they're doing. I thought that'd be awesome.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
No problem. And as always, folks, on Brainiac.
Oh, you're going in and out on us again, buddy.
Oh, thank you for letting me know.
Restart the bypass.
Make another pass at it.
All right, let's try this again. I'm Bob Dolebot. Follow me on Twitter. And please.
We're losing him.
That's what happens when you're
Colonel Comics, help your friend out. Do the finishing pitch for him.
All right, he's Bob Dolebot. Follow me on Twitter at Brainiac420, and check out the next meeting of the minds tomorrow when we have Sean Campbell on, and we have Matthew on again from Punchline. All right, everybody, meeting of the minds. Away!
Bye.
Away. Good night.
Good night.
All